McDonald's has entered a Minecraft movie universe, and Grimace, Birdie, and Hamburglar just spawned as new collectibles in the overworld. Now for a limited time, you can get one of 6 McDonald's collectibles when you order a Minecraft movie meal. Ooh. With your choice of Big Mac or 10-piece chicken McNuggets with spicy nether flame sauce. Available now in a biome near you. Oh, and at your local McDonald's. At participating McDonald's for a limited time. A Minecraft movie only in theaters.
At Sierra, discover top workout gear at incredible prices, which might lead to another discovery. Your headphones haven't been connected this whole time. Awkward. Discover top brands at unexpectedly low prices. Sierra, let's get moving.
Make that move, you can't relate to that. I roll the dice, shit, if I lose, I'm gonna be shaking back. Cause lessons learned within the loss just elevate the fact that trial and error just the only way. Ain't no escaping that. I wake up, hit 100 push-ups, then I'm at my route. Check on my stocks, see how they looking, then I'm sliding out. When you start seeing your progression, you stop having doubts. And what's the point of having clout if you can't cash it out? True to this game, and I'm a lifer, ayy. Feel like we finna change the cycle, ayy. That's the most success, you know we thriving, ayy. That's the most depression for our rivals, ayy. Could teach a lesson on survival, ayy. You know I'm from the bottom.
What's up, what's up, what's up? What's good with it, wealthy people? It is your boy, David Bellard, host of the most best Black Wealth Renaissance podcast. And I'm here with my brother from another, Jalen Clark. How you doing, killer?
What's down with it, man? It's your boy, Jalen Clark, a.k.a. Killer Clap, a.k.a. I don't know another AKA, because I'm not gonna say what they used to call me in college. That's a while. Can't go by that name
you
anymore.
Can't do that. But hey, you do know another AKA, your wife. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah. So shout out to my lovely other half. But man, what's up with it, bro? Feeling blacktastic today. It's cold as in Houston today.
Nigga. You just said you was gonna stop cussing on the podcast.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm gonna bleep it, y'all. I'm gonna bleep it. I'm gonna bleep it. I'm trying to work my best to stop cussing, y'all.
It's cold in the Dallas too, bro.
See, and you fussing at me?
I never said I wasn't gonna cuss. That was you.
No, last night you said, you know what? We're gonna work on it. Because we was talking about how the old ladies on YouTube be commenting, talking about, I want to show this to my grandkids. But y'all cuss too much. We're working on it, guys.
Auntie, we hear you.
We do.
Trying.
Grandma,
we're trying our hardest. But just know,
sometimes it just slip out.
It's gonna come out.
Sometimes it just slip out. It's like SpongeBob said, sentence enhancers.
Hey yo. No. I started thinking about the you gotta edit in one of them little dolphin noises.
I'm gonna do it. But in all seriousness, man, it's great to be back. Great to be back with another episode.
Yes, sir.
Once again, we told y'all we back. I do feel like it's good for a good reintroduction. Kind of like why we started this podcast. Kind of like giving the audience what to expect from us as well.
Yeah.
So I'll let you pop it off, bro.
I just want, before we say that, I just got something to say. We back at it. Definitely feels good to be back, like we said on the last one. And we noticing you niggas. I just want y'all to know we paying attention. We see y'all paying attention.
Yes,
That's
sir.
all I got to say. But yeah, back to this pod and why we started it, man. So for everybody that's been rocking with us, or the people that's just finding us, man, BWR is all about uplifting the culture. We started this with a mission of helping Black people attain and maintain wealth by providing tools and resources to help them get there. The reason we started this is because we were coming out of school. We started this back in 2018, 2019. We
started the pod. So we started a page back in 2018. We started the pod in March of 2019. We're actually coming up on the anniversary. So we might need to try to link up and do something in person.
Okay.
Make a spectacle out of this, man. We ain't really
man.
Let's get something popping, man.
I feel that. Come on up to Dallas, man. We make some stuff happen. You know what I'm saying?
I'll pull up. Or you could probably come down to Houston and come to Breon's new spot too if you want to.
Hey, that also works. But yeah, man, the reason, we started this, guys, was because we noticed that there was a lack of examples within the community. And that's really what we want to do. We didn't have these conversations growing up. Nobody would talk to us about financial literacy, about owning a business, about the things that are going on in the world and how they affect you, right? So the whole point and purpose of this brand is just so that we can help us as a culture elevate and attain that wealth, because for generations this information was really withheld from us. Like, wealth was not something that was attainable for the everyday black person or at scale or in mass. Now we have a lot more upward mobility. There's a lot more tools weren't available to us, and a lot of us weren't able to, well, a lot of our parents' generation didn't have access to this information. And now, since the advent of the internet, we were able to get access to a lot of things. And it's been able, through this brand, we've been able to reach a lot of people and share a lot of information that was never going to be shared to us. And that's really the mission, in my opinion. That's what we set forward to do, and that's what we're going to keep doing.
We definitely gonna keep on doing that. Keep on providing value. Once again, we went through a little hiatus. So with that, I know we dropped last Wednesday. Wednesday is our normal drop dates. For those of you who might be new here, look forward to new episodes from us every Wednesday. Every Wednesday at 5 p.m. we drop an episode. We used to be morning podcasts. We might tinker with it, see what gets better reaction Wednesday mornings or Wednesday afternoons. A matter of fact, if you're a listener, just drop it in the drop it in the comments. Let us know what y'all feel. Let us know which one y'all rather. Would y'all rather listen to the pod early in the morning, as y'all getting ready for work, as y'all working out, as y'all doing other things y'all want that as part of your morning routine? Let us know what suits y'all better. We would love the feedback. That's something else about our show. We take constructive criticism. We take that pretty well. We want to make sure that we're giving you guys the best product. So we take all suggestions into considerations while creating content and while producing the show. So yeah, that's what you can expect from us. You can expect great content from us. You can expect us to deliver the most accurate information that we can find. And then I think that kind of segues into one of the first things that I kind of want to talk about is I was just catching up, but like a conversation that we were having last night with our guy Jay, just talking about like how previous business experiences kind of has shaped us and how we're moving forward, the way that we are approaching things, right? I think you said it to me last night, like, you know, we're older now, we're wiser now, got a little experience under our belt, and the way that we're moving, the way that we're approaching this thing, we definitely want to show you guys that we've taken all of those things into consideration.
Definitely, definitely, bro. It's one of those things that I think a lot of times, because of social media, we get to see people who are young have success. When we started Black Wealth Renaissance, we were relatively young, some of the youngest people in our space, and we saw a lot of success, but we didn't have the business acumen, know-how, or really the mentorship to push us in the right directions with that. And people all we have interviewed so many people, and they talk about it all the time, like how mentorship is important because it kind of helps you avoid some of those pitfalls. And honestly speaking, I don't think I've ever really had anybody I could call a mentor. I've ever opened myself up for that relationship with somebody. So what I see a lot of it is like this journey. They say you can learn from the lessons of others
I kind of
and
want
the
to
mistakes of
challenge you on
others,
that. I would
but
say I don't know if we had like actual mentors, but we definitely had people who poured into
we
us.
had people
Like
who want to
pe-
help us. But I'm
people's
saying, when I
like,
say a mentor, I
mhm.
mean like somebody that we go to whenever we have problems, or like whenever I built this relationship that I'm gonna go to you for this. Like, I got people I rock with, people that care about us.
I say some people that definitely gave us some shit that helped us out. Tim is one of the people
Tim's a
right
good
off the
brother.
top of my head.
Dre is a good
Dre,
brother. You know
Andre
what I'm saying?
Hatchett, right off the top of my head. Um, who else kind of helped us through some of the struggles as we were facing some challenges in
Shout
our
out to brother
business?
Dre. He definitely
Yeah.
came through in clutch for us a lot of
Yeah,
times.
like Brother Dre was even a mediator at one point for us for some shit, bro. Like, so I wouldn't say we full on didn't have a mentor. Maybe not like the
in
way that
our
like,
niche.
yeah, like
Somebody that is in the arena that we're in that can kind of coach and guide you.
that's
We
been where we've been before.
That's been where we've been
I
because what
got
we
you.
were doing was so new. We really didn't have that, right? So we are exploring this landscape. This is our new first real business, honestly,
Hmm.
and we made mistakes. The mistakes that we made, the things that sometimes that we were beating ourselves up about in the past. That as we're looking at things now, it's like, bruh, all these things happen, right? And we looking at it like we should have X, Y, Z, and we should be here and we should be doing this right now. But in all reality, bro, everything happened for a reason. Everything we learned along the way is just making us bigger and better for that moment. And that's just the way I think on it. And that's the mindset that I'm looking at everything with, is like the approach that we have to business is that you always going forever, you're forever experiencing things to make you better. It's never at your detriment. And whenever you start to get in the mindset of, oh, all these things are happening to me, oh, why is me, woe is me, you
Hmm.
end up in a situation where you're not building no more. You just stuck on the bullshit.
Facts. I saw a tweet. Somebody tweeted. They were like, Pharrell said you should look at your losses as research and development. Right.
I saw that. Yeah, I like
So
that. I like
I
that. We did
I
a lot
like,
of R and D.
yeah,
You
we did
feel
a
me?
lot of R&D through our process. Once again, we had a lot of great success right off the bat. But what is a championship, or what is winning without turmoil, without having to overcome objectives, right? What you don't learn that way. And I think we learned a lot from buying partners out, to being fucked over by some people, to not valuing ourselves as business people, not charging our proper worth.
Oh, hey, can I just say this? The way that anybody that's coming to us talking about some promotion, anything like that, guys, I want y'all to know right now that shit's out the window. That shit dead.
Yeah.
The way it was, the way things were, don't expect that to come back. We were giving way too many deals. We made too many people money, and we did not benefit from it.
And it is what it is,
It is
playboy,
what it is.
playgirl.
It is what it is.
Moving forward though, we moving right once again. Yeah, we do this from the heart. We do this for joy. We do this for the people, but we also do need to get paid. We also need to make sure that we're taking care of ourselves. So yeah, like David said, some of the freebies, some of the low balls and all of that shit out the window. If you ain't talking real money, sorry, can't really do nothing for you. Like, yeah, we'll give y'all free content, all of that shit, but everything else, you gotta pay to play.
It
With
is
that
what it
being
is,
said,
Playboy.
let's get into our first topic, man. First
Yes, sir.
topic,
Yes, sir. Speaking of pay to play, people been paying to play, bro. You feel me?
man.
You feel me? People been playing to play with that little, uh, you
What is
know,
that?
that P.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
I
People been
got
playing
you.
to play with that P. So
So
look, let's
for
get
those that
into it,
don't know
man.
what you're talking about, Valentine's Day was last weekend, right? Valentine's Day just ended. Speaking of that, did you do anything for Valentine's Day?
Yeah, just something slight, something chill, get some food, sit down. You know what I'm saying? Good.
Gotcha.
Yeah, me and Shawty not really locked in like that. So we still make it nice for go. Hey, look, let's go get some food, get a little flowers. You know what I'm saying? I ain't go crazy or no shit like that. I wasn't doing what folks been doing. I tell you that much.
Gotcha. I had a pretty chill Valentine's Day as well. Me and the missus, we went eat hibachi. I got her some flowers and I got her some strawberries, some chocolate covered strawberries. I didn't buy them fucking $120 strawberries, $65 strawberries that because it's selling. Goddamn. That people
Bro,
are, I know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't buy those high strawberries that people are selling
price
online, right?
gouge.
There's people that are price gouging for strawberries, charging an arm and leg for 6 strawberries. What y'all putting in those things, man? I went to
But
HEB.
bro,
I got some.
listen, it's all a scam. It's all a scam, bro. But look, let's give people the context, bro. So listen,
Yeah.
like Jalen just said, America last weekend was Valentine's Day, and Americans actually reached an all-time high on spending on Valentine's Day in 2025. According to the National Retail Federation, it estimated $27.5 billion was spent, surpassing last year's total. I mean, 27.5 billion. Yeah, surpassing last year's total of 25.8 billion and the all-time
Jeez.
high that was previously set in 2020 of 27.4 billion. So
Sheesh.
people was spending that bag this weekend. You
That
feel me? On
bag.
on average, the average person spent $188 on this.
Mm.
So
I
you
might
just
be a
talked
part
to
of
me
that
and Jay.
188, bro. Cause I dropped
Hey,
like
yeah, shit.
120 at Hibachi. Like I said, then flowers and everything else. So
You probably there. So listen, you got two black men right here, right? So the survey revealed that 56% of consumers actually participate. So over half of people, and we know who really spending the money on Valentine's Day, bruh.
who is it, man?
The men.
You
The
think so?
men. Yes. Men
But
spend money on Valentine's Day, bro. Women don't
we
spend no money on
do
Valentine's Day. It's a woman's holiday.
time pause. I will say they don't, but they also, they do that Galentine's Day stuff. Like, and I've seen a lot of Galentine's Day parties. I wonder if that's accounted in that.
Yeah, so I don't believe the Galentine's thing was accounted for that. Whenever looking at the National Retail Federation's survey, the looks like the categories where most of the spending occurred was on jewelry at 6.5 billion, evenings out at 5.4 billion, uh 2.9 billion on flowers, 2.5 bill on candy, and another 1.4 on greeting cards. So people were spending that bag on Valentine's Day. I don't think Galentine's fall into that. I want to say on average, women spend something like $80, whereas men are on the higher side, dragging that average up probably closer to 200. So I was on the lower side of that. I think I probably spent like $80. But again,
I do have a question. As a man, do you ever expect anything for Valentine's Day from
no,
a
bro.
woman?
Valentine's Day was never created for men, bro. Valentine's Day was a marketing scheme. And this is honestly something that we need to talk about because I don't think enough people acknowledge that Valentine's Day was intentionally created to help
Hmm.
the
Propel
economy.
the
Like,
economy.
yeah, like this is what it was for. It's like this holiday is set forth so that you come together and you spend your money on love and the idea of love to exhibit your love when all reality, like, does flowers, candy, and greeting cards really mean love? Like,
Mm.
let's be for real for a second. This all symbols. And because marketing and the idea has been implanted in the minds of so many people. Realistically, bro, Valentine's Day was never made for men. It's not made for us to enjoy. It is made for us to spend. It is made for us to consume. As we can see with the records level of spending in a time where people are so uncertain about the economy, it just proves that the tradition and the marketing has been ingrained in our brains that you need to do this to show that you love this person or that you care about this person on this day, on this specific day, it shows how like that keeping up with the Jones mentality
Hmm.
fucks so many of us because we all on the internet complaining about the cost of living and how eggs cost too much and rent too high, but on Valentine's Day we still find the money in our budget to splurge on some shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? $180 a person. I'm not saying you shouldn't spend money on your partner, nothing like that, right? But who's to say that there should be an arbitrary day that you do that shit? Who determined that shit, right?
Facts.
The powers that be that market this shit to us and put us in our face to get us to buy it. And realistically, like for a lot of men, I know when I was looking into the numbers, the people who end up spending more money typically are married men. So maybe it's not cheaper to keep her. Uh, like I think they edge out single guys by like 50, $60 on average. But it makes sense because somebody who's in a committed
Man,
relationship would
next
spend a
year
little bit more money.
I'm boycotting Valentine's Day next year. Fuck Forget that. I'm boycotting Valentine's Day. Baby, that don't mean that I don't love you. We're gonna celebrate year round our love, our peace together, our happiness. But we ain't gotta celebrate Valentine's Day. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like
And I'll be real
what
with you. I feel like we need a woman in this conversation because I'm right there with you, dog.
bro? And I brought up the question. I posed a question like if you do expect anything, because I ain't gonna lie to you. I want something sometimes when I'm spending all this
Man,
damn
listen,
money.
all we getting
I
is the
want
same
something in
old coochie that
return.
we been getting.
Oh boy, you is preaching.
That's
Coochie is
it.
not a present.
It's
God
not
damn it. Coochie ain't a
like
present.
listen, if you've been giving me that coochie every other day, but now Valentine's Day, I gotta spend 500 on a hotel so that
I'm telling
we can go eat at a fancy restaurant to hit the same old. You ain't
I'm
even gonna pull
telling
out
you.
no new tricks for me. You
That
ain't got
coochie
nothing
better
new to
have a
show me.
sparkler in that mug or something,
You
bro.
feel me? You feel me? Like what? What are we talking about? What are we
I
talking
needed to
about?
be like off of Kanye West blame game. Oh, who we are
Yes.
posting this
Who
coochie.
showed you that?
Oh
Hey, bro,
man. I'm
hey,
sorry.
you
We
got to
got a
believe
little
me. I
ignorant.
was gonna say, Giddy taught me.
We got a little ignorant for a little second. But we said all of that to say, yeah, Valentine's Day spending was ridiculous this year. $27.5 billion. How does how I guess we kind of talked about how it makes both of us feel. But there was an interesting stat. I gotta pull it up real quick.
Yeah,
Because I
yeah,
saw
no, like because I know what stat you're talking about. I believe about
what
the
it
young men not actually asking women on dates, right?
it's not that one actually. It was something else where they talked
But that I
about
did while you looking for that, I'm gonna just hop into this point. So that's another point that I want to point out, right? I was mentioning it earlier that like usually it's married men or men in committed relationships that are
hmm
spending most of this money, not guys that are dating. And something interesting that made me realize it's not young niggas spending this money either,
Oh
guys.
yeah.
It's all you old niggas. You old niggas is the ones blowing the
It's
bag.
because they established and they got that money to spend it.
But listen, not everybody. We gonna get into that. We gonna
You're
get into
right.
that later. Not everybody got that money to spend, bro. Because listen, we gonna talk about this later. But it's too many old niggas out here spending money on ass when they need to be investing in assets. These young niggas ain't doing it. Young niggas,
Assets
half
over
young niggas,
ass.
half of the young niggas ain't even ask a woman on a date before in person, and I could believe
That's
that.
crazy. That I saw that
I could
statistic.
believe that.
I was like, bro, what? It's over
You,
50% actually.
yeah,
That haven't
so bro, the fact, but it doesn't sound outlandish to me. And these aren't the guys that spending it. Because to your earlier point, they not as established. They trying to get it. These young boys ain't out here spending their last just to impress a girl, especially with how unrealistic standards have gotten.
Mhm.
Social media has warped so many people's minds, bro, to where they think that like it's oh, if he can't do take me on a trip and buy me a bag and do this, that he not a good guy when the average dude making like 50, 60 bands a year, bro. Like, stop it.
Yeah.
Stop it. You're embarrassing yourself. You want everybody to act like they goddamn a rapper or something, bro. Stop it. Let that young man take you to motherfucking Benihana or some shit. Spend money that he probably shouldn't spend over there and be happy instead of trying to complain about what a nigga ain't gonna do. I'm getting mad now. I'm on a tangent.
I
I'm thinking
see
about
it.
these
I see
hoes,
it.
these
It's
old
okay, man.
hoes.
It's okay.
You can
Relax.
edit it out if
Relax.
we need
Relax.
to. No,
Relax.
no,
Relax.
I'm getting this one off my chest. That video of them old hoes that was over there talking about some. If a man sent me $30 for lunch, I'm gonna tell him, baby, keep it. I don't need your $30, ma'am. $30 is more than enough to buy a fucking lunch. If you spending more than $30 every day for lunch, please show me where you work. I will apply there today because either that or your bank account is fucked up. But that's all I gotta say.
Well, with you going off on that, Ted, I found what I wanted to say. So it was talking about the people that actually celebrated with their friends 32% of people who celebrated Valentine's Day actually did celebrate with their friends. So I think that is kind of like Galentine's Day wrapped into that and everything like that. So 32% of people were single celebrating with their
So
friends,
what you just told me really is that
which is a
women not
new
spending no
record high
money on men still. They spending money to have parties with their
with
homegirls
other women. Yeah.
and having men spend money on them
Yeah, pretty much.
and giving men the same coochie.
Yeah, pretty much.
Got it. Got it.
Pretty much. But I just thought that was really, really interesting. Next year, let's figure out how we can keep some of that money, invest more. Like I said, assets over ass.
Assets over ass. I love that mission. Matter of fact, look, fellas, this might sound crazy. The girls, the ladies, they might not go for it. Ladies, let me know if I'm tripping, right? But instead of spending money for the ass, how about you invest in their future? Take that same 180 that we spending and buy a share of Nvidia. It ain't the instant gratification. They don't give you the dopamine hit of you know what I'm saying, like some flowers and some candy. But that man believe in your future, baby. That man want to see you thrive in the future. He want to see you be great. That's why he taking his money, his hard-earned money, and putting it away for you to make sure you got something. It sounds crazy. It might. I think it's a better idea. Assets over ass. Don't chase the ass over the assets. Ladies, just let me know. Is that something y'all be interested in? Like, would you be happy if your man bought you stocks or invested in something like your business instead of doing the things that are traditionally marketed
Hell no.
for Valentine's Day? You
I'm
a nigga. I want to hear from
I
them.
am. But I'm gonna tell you right now,
Ladies,
hell
y'all
no.
tell me.
Hell no. Ladies want to be pampered and want to be felt special. It is going to be a small group of those ladies that are going to say yes. But I feel like most of the ladies, they going to say hell no. Go buy me some flowers. Go buy me this or whatever. I want that. I would
Do
say
both of them. That's what they gonna say.
Yeah, that is what they going to say. Do both.
Why can't he do both?
Fellas, I will even propose this. If you do want to invest, maybe you can invest in some companies that she likes. Maybe like a LVMH. Maybe you can invest into a floral company. Yeah, into a floral company, a Lululemon, or anywhere that you might see. You know, she want to get all of these nice fancy things. Maybe investing into that. So now next time she's wearing her fancy bag, she can say, "I actually own part of this too." So. Maybe it's a bigger flex. Maybe we sound crazy, and they're gonna let us know once this
maybe we out of touch. Maybe we don't know what the fuck we talking about. But
exactly.
I think it's a more sensible route. We are the black wealth guys. We want to see us actually build and maintain wealth, not just splurge all our money on consumerism. So yeah, that's how I feel on that topic, man. But Valentine's Day spending is crazy. I do think it's important to note, though, even though it's an all-time high, it's only up slightly from 2020 pandemic years, whenever everybody had all that money. So I think that's interesting to see. Like, how we in a worse economic situation, but you niggas spending more money.
Hey man, people gonna figure it out. People gonna figure it out. Like you said, people are going to debt and everything. And kind of you talking about a worse economic standpoint.
McDonald's has entered a Minecraft movie universe, and Grimace, Birdie, and Hamburglar just spawned as new collectibles in the overworld. Now for a limited time, you can get one of 6 McDonald's collectibles when you order a Minecraft movie meal. Ooh. With your choice of Big Mac or 10-piece chicken McNuggets with spicy nether flame sauce. Available now in a biome near you. Oh, and at your local McDonald's. I participate in McDonald's for a limited time. A Minecraft movie only in theaters.
The spirit of innovation is deeply ingrained in America, and Google is helping Americans innovate in ways both big and small. The Department of Defense is working with Google to help secure America's digital defense systems, from establishing cloud-based zero-trust solutions to deploying the latest AI technology. This is a new era of American innovation. Find out more at g.co/American innovation.
I want to segue into the next one. I guess I'm gonna call this topic like something or nothing, or should we be worried? And I'm talking about Warren Buffett selling his positions in the market, right? In the S&P 500. So it was reported this past Friday, after Berkshire Hathaway released its 13F report on their fourth quarter, which showed that the company sold about 6 billion of the S&P 500, well, of stocks of equities in the S&P 500, and that totaled up to 133 billion for the year of their selling. So last year in 2024, they sold 133 billion dollars worth of their positions, worth of their equity holdings, and they only purchased about $6 billion worth of stock. Do you think this is something or nothing?
Wait. They sold 133
133, yeah.
and they purchased six.
Yeah,
And you say they purchased six of stock
of equities, yes.
of equities. So, like, I'm interested. Are they purchasing stocks or are they purchasing, those long term safe type equity assets like
It
bonds and
was
treasuries and stuff like that?
so it's a little bit of both. So at one point last year, Berkshire Hathaway actually held more T bonds than the Federal Reserve.
Wow.
Yes. Which they ended up selling some of those too. But the 6 billion that they did purchase into a few different companies. So it was stocks that they purchased. Of the largest of those, one of them being Chubb, another company that I cannot pronounce. But his
Chubb,
major
the
sell,
insurance agency, Jalen?
yeah. But of his major positions that he was selling off, uh, those included Apple, Citigroup Bank,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and a few other banking stocks and everything like that. So do you think Warren Buffett is kind of predicting what's going on? Some people are saying, there's been times where Buffett has been out of step with the market. Maybe he might be overreacting. I do know that stocks in the market have reached all-time highs. Last year, the S&P 500 returned 25% in 2024, and so far in 2025, it's already up 4% too.
So, with all that context, man, I do believe there's something to be concerned about, right? Where there's smoke, there's fire. Warren Buffett has historically been one of the greatest investors that we've seen. Um, and not to say that he's perfect, but he does have an approach to finance that is more practical than what I believe the current market reflects, right? We got things trading at like with tech stocks, it'll shoes any previous advice that was offered in books like The Intelligent Investor, where the price to earnings ratio on some of these tech stocks are like 200 times multiples, where they're not making no money, but we still got billion-dollar valuations. They're not making a profit, rather, not making any money. They're generating revenue, but they're not generating a profit. And these companies are trading at multiples, and I'm pretty sure some of these companies that he's letting go of, we just seem to be at a point where the bubble keeps blowing up bigger and bigger and bigger. And the concern is, when is it gonna pop? uh you made a valid point when me and you were talking about this at a different time, where Warren Buffett just old too. Maybe he just wants to sell to secure some profit. But I do think him selling off all of his holdings in the S&P 500, that is something worth noting. I will say, using like some of the key indicators that people typically look at, like the VIX index, which is the fear and greed index, which usually shows whenever the market is over leveraged, when people are buying too much. I think we're actually still on the lower side of that index. But when you think about a lot of the things, like all the capital that we've injected into the economy in the last 5 years, along with trying to combat inflation and all these things, it's like a perfect storm for something to happen. We just don't know when it's going to happen. So honestly, when I see Warren Buffett sold out of his positions, it did make me want to get a bit more conservative with some of the investments that I have. Made me want to pull some of my equity positions out, especially in some of those ones where I've seen a large profit. I I don't think, I'm starting to see a lot of comparisons being drawn between the tech bubble of the dot-com bubble of the early 2000s
Mm-hmm.
and this AI but revolution, considering this being a bubble. It very well could be. I don't see that many competitors in the arena yet though. And this is something that nations are behind. So I don't think we're seeing a crash. If a crash comes, it's not going to be from AI, in my opinion. Like I
So
think it's gonna be because everything else has been really dragging ass and getting carried by AI these last 3 or 4 years.
so I'm looking at it. So yeah, Apple was the top stock that they sold, but it wasn't Citibank. Sorry, it was Bank of America.
Okay.
So Buffett sold 352 million shares of Bank of America stock, which reduced his company position by 34%. Let's see. It's another one that he
Do,
came.
do you know what their cash balance is? That's what I would like to know. Like, how cash heavy did they switch up to being, or did they just reallocate this into different positions?
It didn't tell me that whenever I
Well,
was
no, they
looking.
didn't reallocate because you just said
Yeah.
they sold 133 billion and only bought six. So
hmm
to me, again, if we just doing simple maths, that's 127. That's the difference
Whenever
that they
I
keep.
was looking at it, whenever I was researching it, it was showing that they did have $266 billion worth of assets under management. That's the
Okay.
value of the assets under management
And
right now.
so if they had 266, sold 133, that means they sold about half their assets.
Mm-hmm.
Of that, they're sitting on a little less than half in cash.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds like somebody that's preparing for something.
Yeah. All right. So you think he's preparing for selling off for whenever a big dip happens so he can buy more?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I think just at the levels that the markets are right now, especially S&P, S&P's been running up eh, with with the uncertainty that's being created by, the new political regime.
So
I
what I did see
definitely
what was interesting. So
think that's a factor.
whenever he sold his Apple position, it was at like 140 something. It did run up to 240 something. Right now it's sitting at 244.49. So there was like, he did leave money on the table with that. But once
Hmm.
again, maybe he knows something that we don't know. Maybe once again, I think he might just be an old fart and it's just like bro was gonna be 95 years old this year. He lost his best friend last year, Charlie. I don't know if maybe
Hmm.
that had a little effect for him. Uh, let's see. And then so some of the companies that he did buy recently too. So it's called Occidental Petroleum. Uh, what is
So
this?
fuel.
Yeah.
So a fuel company. What
And
what
then
else? I'm
Sirius
you're saying shit.
Sirius XM, and then I see
Radio.
Versine. I don't know what that is. Versine is spelled VERISIGN. I don't know what that company is.
Verisign?
Verisign, sorry. Uh,
VERI, you said?
yeah,
SIGN and
VERSI.
Verisign?
hmm So he purchased that. And then he still has positions in Apple, American Express, Bank of America, Coca-Cola, Chevron, and a few other things. So
But still, he cut his position significantly. I feel what you're saying with the old fart shit, but at the same time, nah. I think where there's smoke, there's fire. For the everyday person listening to this just my opinion. Take some profit, bro. Like to me, if the greatest investor that the world has ever seen is taking some profit, maybe that should cue some of us up to lock some shit in. I'm
I
not
got a
just saying
question, man.
sell all your shit off, but the biggest mistake I feel like I've ever made as an investor is not taking profits. Where whenever shit was on the up and up and you knew shit was too hot, when you know shit red hot. And you got people that's investing that should not be investing. Motherfuckers walking up to you. Whenever the old ladies at your job asking you about Nvidia, nigga, sell that shit. Sell it immediately. If
Not
they ain't
sell
never
it
talked to you about no
immediately.
investments before, sell that shit because they don't. that's a mark of whenever things are too over leveraged. Whenever people who, and this ain't to shit on people, right? But people who don't or who never have shown interest in this and don't show a proclivity to this start giving you investment advice. It's time to get the fuck away. It's time to get out. We've reached a point of euphoria where everybody think money just gonna be printed forever, and that's not how shit works.
That's that roaring 20s, man. Ironically, we're in the 2020s.
Hey
Maybe
man,
some similarities, man.
I'm just saying 1929 is when it happened then. 100 years later, if it would happen again, that'd be
It would
crazy.
definitely be crazy. Um, it was one more point that I wanted to make about this. Damn. Oh, so I know you called him the greatest investor that we've ever seen. I got a question. Do you feel like Nancy Pelosi gives him a run for his money?
She cheats. Nancy's a cheater. Nancy is fucking insider trading. Warren got that shit out the mud. Next question, nigga.
I just wanted to see your thoughts on that, man.
Yeah.
Big Nancy,
Do
man.
you think Nancy Pelosi give Warren Buffett a run for his money? The
No,
fuck?
I think if she wasn't on Senate, she wouldn't be
You feel me? Like
holding a
this
candle
nigga,
to
he got
Warren
it out the
Buffett.
mud, bro. He really did some analysis about
Yeah,
these companies. This lady, they be in Congress like, hey, yo, we about to shut the world down.
can't hear you. I, I can hear you now.
No, but I was saying, like, they in Congress, like, hey, yo, we about to shut shit down. They knew they were shutting shit down before COVID for months, right? They knew they was gonna shut shit down. This lady put in mad call options for Zoom and made millions of dollars. There's no reason somebody on a six-figure salary is worth $300 million. That alone is damning to me.
There's some people that's make that type of salary and get their net worth up that high.
Other than Congress people,
I think so.
the only way I could think so is if they exited out of a business. I don't know any investors that are beating the market at the rate Congress is beating the market.
Now, whenever you say it like that, yes. Yeah, whenever you say it like that, I can definitely agree, man. But yeah, I just wanted to know if that's something we should be worried about or not. I guess time will tell. Like David said, if you
Yeah.
are in a position to sell. I always say buy on the red day. If you see something dipping and everything, catch it while it's falling. That way you're able to recoup, and then if it does go back up, you won. But if you bought it at a discount.
Yeah. And man, just to give like some minor game that I think would be useful for people that are like new to the market, right? The easiest thing I think you can do to like try to get some price targets is look for support and resistance. Go to your favorite chart, go on the 4 hour time frame, look at what it did for the last 3 4 months, right? And I'm not no stock professional. This ain't no crazy investment advice. This is just basic observation, right? You will look on this chart, right? And you will see areas where the price, where it looks like it gets stuck, it consolidates, where it goes up and down, side to side, side to side. You want to mark off those price points where you see that happening, especially if you see it happening multiple times over the time frame. So if it happened in March and then again in May, it looked like it was going up and then it stopped going up and then it bounced back down around there and then it bounced down a little bit, then came back to that price point, bounced around, then bounced above it, then came back. You want to mark that price point down. Obviously, that's an area where the price has a little challenges, and that's an area you can look at for a bounce. So whenever you're thinking about what Jalen just said, buying on red days, if you're looking at a price and you're like, man, this price too high, I want to wait till it falls. Look for the last most recent area of support is what it's called whenever you're looking for it to come down. So look for the most recent area where price was consolidating below it and go ahead and mark that level off. Chances are if it gets there, it's your price target. If you like it, put your money aside, buy in then. One thing historically about stocks, if you're investing in good companies, they go up and to the right. Look at their all-time chart. If it's up and to the right, you're in the right type of company.
If that thing look If it was going up and to the right, then you start seeing it coming down like these planes. RP to the people that lost their life. But if you start to seeing it coming down like that, don't buy it.
You're fucking with the wrong one.
Don't buy it. Okay,
Yes,
man.
indeed.
Let's
But
move into our next
moving
topic
on.
with
I
this
think
one,
that was
brother.
good, y'all. Y'all, you know what I'm saying? Moving on to some more bullshit. Whenever we start talking about, securing profits and selling, this is an unfortunate story. Recently that we reported on the Black Wealth Renaissance Instagram page. If you somehow listen to this podcast and don't follow us there, make sure that you are tuned in with us so that you can get updates throughout the week there at Black Wealth Renaissance. So what happened, right? A Georgia family, actually, a judge ruled against them in an eminent domain case, and this is what happened, right? So the Smith family farm, which is located in Hancock, Georgia, uh, has been in that family for generations, over 120 years, if I'm not mistaken. The
100
land's been
years.
over 100 years.
So
The
like
land's
105 years. They
something like that. So
his
over 100.
grandfather purchased it in the 1920s.
Got you. Okay, since the 20s. So over 100 years, this land's been in their family. And I think it's over 600 acres of land
It
that they've
is.
been doing work for. They farm timber, crops, and now they're challenged with an eminent domain case. The state ruled against them in the case, and they're allowing the Sandersville Railroad Company to spur expansion through their land. And
Hmm.
the way they're saying that this can actually go about is because they're using eminent domain laws. So
What
eminent
before we
domain,
even get into that,
yeah.
yeah, I was about to say, what is eminent domain, right? Eminent domain is the right of a government or its agent to appropriate private property for public use with payment of compensation. So they can take your land as long as it's used for public use, such as a major highway, or in this case, a railroad, with and they have to pay you. They have to pay you fair
Mhm.
market value for your land. But if they say it's eminent domain, there's nothing that you can do about losing that land.
Yeah, and the sucky part about it when it comes to that type of stuff is that it always seems to be us, right? Whenever these types of things happen, a
Oh
lot of
man,
times.
I got a stat for you that's gonna make you be like,
Yeah,
what the
well, give
fuck?
it to me, man, because it typically always seems to be black people that are
So
disproportionately affected by this.
so whenever you said it's always black people, right? So um from the news station that reported this, Atlanta News First, um, they went back to a study from like 2007. It revealed that when eminent domain was used for private development, not public development, private development, uh, it most often impacted areas where more than half of the community was predominantly people of color. Also, it
Hmm.
showed that half of the community's population sat below the poverty.
I was never really a runner. The way I see running is a gift, especially when you have stage 4 cancer. I'm Anne. I'm running the Boston Marathon, presented by Bank of America. I run for Dana-Farber Cancer Institute to give people like me a chance to thrive in life, even with cancer.
Join Bank of America in helping Anne's cause. Give if you can at BofA.com/supportAnne. What would you like the power to do? References to charitable organizations is not an endorsement by Bank of America Corporation. Copyright 2025.
Springfest and Ego Days are here at Lowe's. Right now, get a free Select Ego 56-volt battery with purchase of a Select trimmer, blower, or mower kit. Plus, shop today for new and exclusive items you need for your lawn. So get ready for spring with the latest in innovation from Ego, the #1 rated brand in cordless outdoor power. Only at Lowe's. We help, you save. Offer valid through 4/2. Selection varies by location while supplies last.
line. So
Because basically, whenever they do that, because like what you just said, right? If they go to the poorest areas, they only have to pay you fair market value in the poorest area. So if you strategically have this area be somewhere that's devalued, then you come in and say, hey, we need this land for X, Y, Z. Now we're paying you pennies on the dollar for some shit that we're really gonna make worth probably hundreds of thousands of dollars in a few years.
Yeah.
The same land that you could have gotten for $10,000, $15,000 all of a sudden is now you selling lots for 200, 300. A good example of that would be like in Dallas where they built the stadium. You know, that area that was an eminent domain case in
Really?
Arlington,
I didn't realize that.
where they had to buy out a lot of people's houses, but that area was one of the poorer areas in Arlington, and now it is where they're bringing literally all the development, and they've created a whole entertainment district there now, where it's like you're seeing the people who were there getting pushed
The
out
new
for it.
Ranger Stadium
It's
is
crazy to
there.
see.
I think Lowe's is expanding their hotel there. The World Cup is going to be played in that area. Is it this year or next year? I think it's next year,
Probably
in
next year.
2026.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like you said, a huge entertainment district. And I kind of want to talk about the how with the eminent domain as well.
Yeah.
So the how with that is state leaders allowed a private company to seize part of their land. So it's not going to be the full 600 acres. They want to seize part of it. It's about like 9 plots of land within there. They want to seize part of their land under the premise of eminent domain for the purpose of the Sandersville Rail Company spur expansion, right? And what this spur expansion basically is, it's a loop off of the main track, and that will allow them to expand their network and to get to smaller areas. To basically what they want to do is they want to move more natural resources. One of the biggest things being rocks that they're using for concrete for development and stuff in the area. So they want to expand through that area, and Sandersville was able to condemn parts of the family's land. So you have to condemn the land first before you can actually go through the eminent domain process. So Sandersville was able to condemn the land first. So now the family is actually fighting. They did file an appeal lawsuit against them. It was a unanimous vote by a board of 5 people that sat on the board. So unanimous vote. I do think some pockets was greased. I think some money
It
was
sounded like
yeah.
some appointees was getting
Yeah,
some
I
money on
definitely
the
think
side.
some pockets was greased with this one. But to me, I think that's a sad case. Because once again, whenever you read the definition of eminent domain, it's for public use, right? This spur will not be to transport people.
People not gonna be on them trains. You ain't
Yeah,
lying.
all they're transporting is, once again, natural resources, farm crops, these things to build and all of that stuff. So,
This gives me 2 questions actually, right?
got you.
One, how did they get their farmland condemned? And 2,
That's what I was trying
how
to
did they
figure out
win the
too.
case for public use whenever it is very clearly a private
But
company doing things in their private interest? Is it because they're saying they're doing it to make concrete and the
so
concrete serves the public?
so no, this is what they're saying. So it isn't public use from what the article is saying, what the family is saying. You know, they're like, yeah, this is for private use. They're using it to actually make money, which doesn't fall under the premises of eminent domain. But what the railroad company is saying, if you allow us to do this, we're going to create more jobs in the area, spurring economic development in the area. Because right now, the county that it goes through, the average median income is $22,000 a year, and it runs through the city of Sparta, Georgia. So the average income is $22,000 a year. So they're saying that we're going to start bringing jobs to the area. That's how it's for public use. But once again, that appeal is being filed. So they're going to be fighting it. They're not the only family who's facing this. There's about like 6 other families who's going through this too. So they're all teaming together. They're all trying to fight this together. It was just really interesting. It came across our radar because once again, it's a black family. They've been in this. They've been having this land for over 100 years. They're making money off of it for timber crops. So I just think it's fucked up.
The craziest shit, right? So if that's why the first question, it keeps burning in my mind. how can they get this land condemned if it's used for timber crop? If it has an actual use case for it, what are you saying is unsafe? That they have trees on it? Nigga, that's what we use to make money.
I don't know. But
But
what the owner, Mr. Smith, is basically saying if they do this, you're now defacing and devaluing my land. And their biggest concern is if they do take this, what's stopping them from taking more land from me?
exactly. Like would they if they want to expand the spur, what they gonna do? Just keep going. It's a definitely a dangerous legal precedent that would be set if the appeal fails. So definitely we'll be monitoring this case as it develops and keeping people posted. I hate that this is something that like you said, we hate to see black families lose wealth, wealth through their land. Their land is something that's so important. It's always something that we've talked about on this podcast and encourage people to get into because, for one, they're not making more of it. We've interviewed so many real estate investors because it's not the number one way to become a millionaire in the United States of America. So I hate that we got another case where it looks like a black family they're trying to rob us of our wealth essentially. It's still in 2025, we dealing with the same type of shit that was going on 100 years ago whenever they fucking got the land. So it's insane. It's insane to see. Definitely keeping the Smith family in our thoughts and prayers, and we're gonna be making sure that their story is shared.
I've got one rebuttal, so I'm kind of hypocritical because I still want this Houston to Dallas railroad thing to happen, but it's facing some of the same things.
Yeah,
it's like where it's running through
that too, man. It's actually a black family.
Yeah.
Like I want to say somewhere south of Waco.
Yes.
They have a farm.
It's off of 45.
The plan is to run it directly through their farm, and they don't want to give it up. When it comes to that, I want
But that one would truly be eminent domain if you're using a high-speed railroad to transport people from Houston to Dallas.
It would, and don't get me wrong, I hate to see people lose their land and shit like that. But I think that
or just build a subway, nigga. Put it under the ground.
No,
Oh, you broke up. You broke up.
You hear me? You can hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't think that plan is going to happen the way that it's currently planned. I think it's going to go through several alterations and iterations just because one of the also proposed things with that is running it to downtown and going to Reunion Tower. So that was one of the part of the proposal was that they would have to tear down Reunion Tower. For all the people that aren't from Dallas, if you've seen the Dallas skyline, the ball that makes the Dallas skyline, the damn Dallas skyline, yeah, that's what they're talking about tearing down. And Texans ain't going for that shit. I promise you. We rather that train stop in Waxahachie, Waco,
Terrell.
We'll
drop niggas off at Buc-ee's.
It'll go everywhere around DFW, but it ain't gonna go to downtown if they got to. I want to move on to the next thing, man.
Segue.
Next thing, speaking of land, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is a question that we posed, and we wanted to just kind of get each other's opinion on this, right? Because people had a lot of thoughts and opinions on this. So Jalen, I'm gonna start by asking you, right? We just talked about land, eminent domain, and whatnot. So which one of these will you choose if given the option, right?
Mm-hmm.
800,000 cash, 800 credit score, or 800 acres of land. Which one would you choose and why?
Give me that 800 credit score. I lie. I do not. Don't do
I'll
that.
slap you.
Let me get that 800 cash though, man. Cash is king. Run me my money, dog. Tell them to bring me my money.
So why would you go with the cash, bro?
Once again, cash is king, man. I would have my money up front. I would be able to then invest in whatever I needed to do. I want to hear your answer first before I tell you why I wouldn't do the other two. For sure, the 800 credit score, it just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah,
I can have a great credit score, but if I don't have actual ways to leverage it because you can have an 800 credit score, but you still need some type of capital to leverage.
Well, actually, Jalen, an 800 credit score is more powerful than any cash that you can get.
Once
With
again,
an 800 credit score,
cash is king.
you can get access to $1 million.
Cash is king. With 800,000 in cash, I can get access to a lot more in assets.
Even if my credit fucked.
I'm just saying, bro. I can pay somebody some money to let me ride under their credit. Give me a trade line real quick, and then I can go do whatever I need to do.
You know what I'm saying? That trust me, I'm right there with you. So we both pretty much ruling out the 800K credit score, but I actually do disagree with you. While I think the 800 cash is one of the wiser options, 800 credit score, fuck out of here. But I'm thinking 800 acres of land, right? So why?
Why is that?
I'm a country boy. People will be like, man, what you gonna do with that land? You don't even know where that land at. It could be bad land. That's the main question to everybody. What are you getting some shitty land? Who? I mean, yeah, right. Land, you're not guaranteed where the land is, right? But 800 acres of land can be repurposed and reparceled and sold and leveraged in such ways that the cash you won't be able to, right? So obviously, for argument's sake, we could assume that they saying, oh, it's 800 acres of Arizona. No, I'm not saying that, but 800 acres of some country like in Louisiana where we
800 acres in fucking Church Point, nigga.
I could do something with that. What are you niggas talking about? Nigga, I'ma build so many crawfish ponds. What are you talking about? Boy,
okay, so
stop it.
I got a question.
Trailer parks and crawfish ponds, son.
What if all you got is the land? What if all you got is the land or no capital to do anything with it?
Bro, if you got this much land, that is capital. If you come with a plan and you got people that can see the vision, bro. So we from South Louisiana. We know how big crawfish is. We know how big that industry is. It's not hard. Here's a secret, guys. In the crawfish industry, they don't do nothing difficult. All these niggas do every year, they plant some rice, they let that shit die in the field, they write that shit off on their taxes, they flood the ponds. Whenever crawfish season start, the crawfish come to eat the rice. They sell the crawfish for a profit. You get Jose and them to go walk the field.
That was racist.
And
that was racist. That's fun.
You pay them niggas barely. You barely pay them niggas.
Chill. Yo, that was wild.
Real, bro.
That was wild.
No, it's not wild. That's real, bro. I'm saying, like, with the 800 of land, you can parcel this out. You can go and build a relationship with a bank, a small local bank that can then see your plan, your vision for this, and invest in this. There are rural development loans available through the USDA. If you can show that you have access to this land and a plan to develop it, something that's gonna increase the economic value of the area, you mean to tell me you think that wouldn't be that's okay. The better
I got another question for you.
Okay, let me say this before I let you get your point off, right? The reason I believe the 800 of land is the better option is because I think too often we short-term thinkers when it comes to wealth building. 800 in land is more of a long-term play. It's something that you might not reap the rewards of immediately. It's going to take more sweat equity than 800 cash in your hand. You can go make some shit happen with 800 cash, but most niggas go get 800 cash to fucking blow it. If we being honest, they're not going to invest that shit. They're gonna go buy a fucking Lamborghini. They're gonna go buy a big ass house. Niggas, this is what niggas do with money, bruh.
Well, I wouldn't be doing that. But the reason, once again, what are you gonna do if they say, hey, taxes is due on this 800 acres of land? And once again, your capital is kind of strapped.
It's Louisiana, baby. That 800 acres property taxes might be 3 bands.
Man, hell no.
That shit, I promise you it ain't no more than 10.
For 800 acres?
In Louisiana, it ain't no more than 10.
You don't think so?
I promise you it ain't. Bro, we got 30 acres of farmland in the back. The niggas pay $150 in taxes on that every year. What you talking about?
Is it like homestead or is it anything like that?
It's in the country.
That's crazy. Okay.
We in an unincorporated area of Louisiana. It's no local taxes. It's no local government there. So who are you paying revenue to? You know what I'm saying? That you pay to the state. It's like $150 a year for the property taxes. So like that's why my mentality is what it is when it comes to this. And again, it's more of a long-term play. This could be parceled out. This could be sold to people. This could be, you could acre it out, have a whole trailer park on that mug. You ain't even got to put the trailers there. You just clear the land, set up the plots, set up the infrastructure for people to bring the trailers there.
Man, look.
Charge their ass lot rent.
I'm taking my 800,000. I can go buy me some land, or I can go invest. I'll put that into some dividend stocks, start making me some money. I get paid. I can then not have to really worry about a lot of shit because my dividend stocks is returning investment. As long as I'm getting what? Let's do 3% times 800. What is that?
Doom, 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 doom,
24,000, right? Let's say I'm getting 24,000 return on my dividends. Dividends are paid quarterly, right? Times
some quarterly, some monthly, depending on what companies you invest in.
We're gonna go quarterly, right? Times 4. So that's $96,000 that I can have. Well, I'm also have it stock. I'm getting equity in the stock, but now I'm getting paid $96,000 passively. I don't have to worry about no property tax. That money I can reinvest it more, buy more stocks, which would then increase my position, giving me more money being earned passively. Or
okay, let me flip that shit on the head though. If I gotta pay taxes on the land, why you ain't gotta pay 800 taxes on the 800 when you get it? Uncle Sam won't have.
See, we didn't talk about that.
Fuck you mean? Uncle Sam won't have. So,
if Uncle Sam won't have, that's totally different.
I'm just saying
that's totally different.
When does Uncle Sam never want half? He gonna want his 35-40%. You know what I'm saying? Instead of having 800, you really got like 560.
How was this money derived? Was it passed out through like a Roth IRA? Was it tax free? Some type? How did I get this money?
You won the lottery, I'm guessing, because this is just just a hypothetical. Me. You know what I'm saying?
If I won the lottery, they definitely gonna fuck me.
They come in, bing bop, boom bop, boom bop, bam.
Yeah, this type of shit I'm on, you couldn't even understand. I'm still sticking with my 800K. I'll take my money. Once again, cash is king. Let's just say it is $400,000, right? I can still go and leverage that in a lot of ways. The land, yeah, I understand the long-term play. I do feel like
no more land. That's why I'm standing. I'm gonna stand on that. 10 toes down on the ground. I'm gonna put some cows on that bit. Nigga.
I'm taking the 800. You can take your 800 land.
All right, man. We moving on, man.
Yeah. Cash is king to me, bro.
Hypothetical over. Goddamn. So
McDonald's meets the Minecraft universe with one of 6 collectibles and your choice of a Big Mac or 10-piece McNuggets with spicy nether flame sauce. Now available with a Minecraft movie meal.
At participating McDonald's for a limited time, a Minecraft movie only in theaters.
The NBA playoffs are here, and I'm getting my bets in on FanDuel. Talk to me, Chuck GPT. What do you know?
All sorts of interesting stuff, even Charles Barkley's greatest fear.
Hey, nobody needs to know that.
New customers bet $5 and get $250 in bonus bets if you win. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook.
21 plus and present in Virginia. Must be first online real money wager. $5 deposit required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable bonus bets that expires 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
All right, on to the next one. I'm gonna let you introduce it, Killer.
So on to the next one. Once again, this is more money theme, and actually we posted this on the Black Growth Renaissance page recently too.
If you ain't following us, punch yourself in the face.
So recently there was an article put out by Forbes. I know a lot of people was asking us about that article on the page. I'll drop it. The article actually dropped in 2022. That there was an increase in African American millionaires, right? So that number is now almost 2 million. So it's 1.79 million African Americans have become millionaires. That number was up from, let me go to the number, how much it was increased from. It was very
In
minuscule.
2020, I want to say the number was 260,000 in 2020.
Let's see, I can tell you for sure if my phone would ever load.
You pulling up from the post?
Yeah, it's 260.
Yeah, it's 260. Yeah,
260,000 to roughly 2 million African American millionaires. And we put the post up. It got a lot of reactions and everything like that. So how did this come about? Once again, from the Forbes article, in that year, over 5.2 million millionaires were added globally, with over half of those residing in the U.S. And then once again, of those 5.2, there was 1.79 million African American millionaires being made. How did this come about, right? So as of 2021, of the total global millionaires, it was 62.5 millionaires globally. So the average wealth range from 1 million to $5 million. So average millionaire held between $1 to $5 million. And their wealth was derived from owning homes, investing into their 401k aggressively, and outside of work. Also, they had a lot of charitable contributions. Why the fuck I can't speak right now? They had a lot of charitable contributions, and then some of them were business owners, but majority of those people actually did work jobs, which I found was pretty interesting. But the hugest stat to me was the actual age of those people, right? The age of those people who were millionaires averaged from 60 to 70 years old.
Don't let social media trick you into thinking you falling behind. That's all I heard. And so with what you just shared, there's a lot of key things in there. But first and foremost, shout out to all the people that are Black millionaires that have expanded. I love to see our people grow and expand wealth. I think it's important that we see those examples. That's the reason we started this brand. We grew up around poverty, if we're being honest. I wasn't in destitution, but nobody around me was doing extremely well. I didn't know millionaires growing up. I didn't see millionaires that looked like me that weren't on TV, that didn't wear chains and that have to rap or play ball to make that money, or be an entertainer, right, or be on television. So it's great to see that we're getting to see more everyday people who look like us attain that status, because it just makes it that much more realistic. And one of the important key things I think we got to point out in there that you mentioned was that most of these people own homes. This is something we reported on before, and we actually shared it recently on the page as well. But the average net worth of homeowners versus that of people who rent. People who own homes own substantially more wealth than people that don't. In most cases, across most age groups, I want to say it's something like a 4x multiple.
It is 4 to 5x.
It's like a 4x multiple. So, like, for example, I want to say like renters who are in that 60 to 70 group, their average net worth is 171,000, whereas homeowners it's like 879, which is like that's a vast difference, right? So, what does this mean, and why is it important to us? It shows that now more than ever, home ownership is important. I want to say it was on the last episode we were discussing a little bit on how, America is becoming a nation of renters, and BlackRock and a lot of the private equity companies.
We actually didn't talk about that.
Projected to own 60% of. They're projected to own 60% of single family homes.
That was something we also talked about on the page recently too. JP Morgan Chase and I forgot the company. Hello?
Oh, Georgia Capital.
And Georgia Capital. They're partnering together to build 100 single family rentals. So
Built to rent units.
yeah, they're building to rent units. So basically they're not even giving you the option to actually purchase these homes. They're building it for the sole purpose to rent them out to people. So like David said, it's a famous quote: "You will own nothing and you will be happy."
Larry Fink, BlackRock said it. CEO
Yep.
of BlackRock told us, "We'll own nothing and be happy." So right now, more than ever, to me, what this shows, especially, you know, like real estate definitely had to be a large contributor of it. I mean, but we've seen growth since 2020. That's crazy, right? The market kind of dipped down, and then after that, things have been ripping and running after the little flash crash. So I'm sure a lot of this wealth was created in that time
Mhm.
through home ownership. We've seen the average home price in the nation go from 215,000 to 400,000 in
Also,
those few short years.
and we just spoke about like the returns that the market was getting as well. Once again, those people invested aggressively into their 401ks, and they invested outside of work. So depending on what type of positions that they held to, compare coupled with their home ownership and those positions in those stocks and those companies, I can see that all contributing to their wealth. There was one other stat that I saw on this story. It was the average time that it took to become a millionaire, to earn your first $1 million. It was 25 years. It took
Again,
those people 25 years to accumulate $1 million.
again, we can't let social media trick us out our spot and think that we got to be living the best life right now. I think that's a really a truly a recent phenomenon that older generations didn't have to experience, because we got access to seeing how rich people do shit every day now. Too many people expect that lifestyle, and to me, I believe it creates a situation where a lot of us don't understand the idea of sacrifice for ownership. And don't get me wrong, I think things are way more expensive. It's way harder than it was whenever other people were coming up, but I don't think we hold the same level of reverence for it, and we treat it like it's optional or it's a game, whenever right now is very, very necessary, especially whenever we're seeing the amount of millionaires that were created. I think it kind of goes back to something we seen Master P say a couple years ago. Eventually, it's only going to be rich and poor. Ain't going to be no middle
Facts.
class. The middle class is dying. And if you want to be on one side of the ledger versus the other, ownership is going to be key to that. Ownership of, as we just shared from this article, right? Owning your own home, owning investment properties, owning stocks in companies that have appreciation, that are going to either pay you a dividend or going to appreciate, things like Nvidia, things like Apple, investing in funds like VTI and um VGI, you know what I'm saying? Like putting your money in places where we know it's gonna be invested in things that are pushing forward, and you're gonna exhibit growth in. Um just a random company I like to throw out there that I don't think a lot of people think about, because I just started messing with them when I got into Justin. Owens Corning. They develop roof materials. I invested in them last year. They're up 40%.
And that ain't going nowhere.
That ain't going nowhere. People always need houses. What are we talking about? Like as long as we
And when you
putting
say roofing
ourselves,
material, you talking about shingles.
yes, they develop shingles. They sell shingles, and you always need shingles. I work as an insurance adjuster. We replace roofs every day. We pay for roofs every day. 12, 13, 14,000 dollars on a roof every day. This not going nowhere. People need homes. Like as long as we're positioning ourselves where the real world is, like again, social media is a play world, a creative world, right? You got people on here that are literally lying through lifestyle marketing, capping, um, making fake private jet videos to sell you on the idea and the image of wealth. As we kind of just shared with this article, that shit's made up. That's not what wealth is for most people. Yeah, you got your anomalies that are gonna be superstars when they're real young and make a lot of money, your Kais and Nats and shit like that.
Hmm.
But for the most part, most of us, it's gonna be that long grind. It's gonna be that slow grind. It's gonna be taking $500 a month and putting it into that Roth IRA and letting that money build up over time. And whenever people tell me, well, why would I save for retirement, which is something I want to get into after this topic, it's like, bro, we gonna get old. Like you need to, you know what I'm saying? Good Lord say the same. We all gonna get old. Life
Facts.
expectancy just keep increasing. Why would you
With
not?
all the investments, in the healthcare industry and the things that they're doing to allow us to live longer, you're right. It keeps on increasing right now. I think the average life expectancy in the U.S. is like 82 right now.
Which is crazy. Cause like my dad and them was telling me in the Bible, God only say he give you 70, and then anything after that a blessing. I ain't know that till after my grandma them passed.
Really?
But yeah, apparently like 70 years is what you guaranteed or you're
Sorry.
supposed to have.
So in 2024, 78.7 years is the U.S. average life expectancy.
Damn near 80.
Yeah.
Nearly 80.
Yeah.
So definitely got to put that money to work for you. And I guess now that we're on the topic, did you have anything else to say about the millionaires before we kind of segue into the next?
Nah.
Okay, so yeah, talking about that topic, right? We talking about retirement. There was something else that we shared on the page that I think is extremely alarming. And that is that almost half of Americans have less than $10,000 saved for retirement, and almost a quarter have nothing saved at all. And I'm not talking about young people, guys. I'm talking about people for age 55 to 65. People that
Jesus
are
Christ.
nearing the retirement age. The majority of them do not have money put away. So what that means is there's an impending retirement crisis that nobody's really talking about, and it's gonna affect a lot of millennials and Gen Z. We often talk about the wealth transfer, but we don't talk about the problems that are gonna come for
From
those
the
people who don't have the wealth.
Mhm.
I think it's important to note, right? We often hear that baby boomers have over half the wealth of the United States population. So like 51% of the wealth is held by the baby boomers, right? But it's interesting to point out that of those baby boomers, a Forbes Advisor survey found that only 17% of those people had over half a
majority.
million dollars.
Damn.
So like 17% had over half a million. Everybody else
Was under.
And we just said half of those people don't even have 10K. So the
So
percentage of people with 52.
so let me get this right. Half baby boomers own half of the wealth in the
Yep.
US, right? And of that half, only 17% of them actually have wealth over $500,000.
Correct.
Damn, that's stark, man. So
Yeah.
you got 83% of baby boomers living out here just trying to make it.
For the most part. And like, don't get me wrong, some of them that got, 100,000, 200,000 put up, they're not gonna be as bad off as the ones that don't have anything. But whenever we start talking about who are those people that don't have anything, you'll start noticing a lot of them are black and brown individuals. Many of us, I don't know about you if you ever looked into your parents' retirement accounts, but I've looked at mine with my parents.
Bro, my
I
my
think my
parents don't
parents
have
have
one.
done a respectable job for who they are and where they're from. They always taught me to save money, and I think they did that. Um, but I mean, they're not in the percentage of people who don't have anything saved, but they're definitely not in that over 500 gap, right? And
Yeah.
and that gap is going to create a lot of need, because if you look at the lifestyle of a lot of these people, a lot of people living off of 40, $50,000 a year. If you only got 100K put up and you hadn't really been investing it and growing it and taking advantage of some of these tools that are at your disposal, that money can go real fast. So I did want to kind of talk more and give some more context with this too. So like kind of how we got here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because like I think a lot of times we can look at the older generation and just blame them without really thinking about how the situation was created, right? So when we think about the idea of retirement in general, is really a relatively new concept to Americans. The first pension didn't exist on record till 1875, when an American company, I forget the exact name of the company,
But they
they
promised to take care of their employees,
they
basically.
promised to take care of their employees as they aged out of the working thing. Because, this is the industrial age. People are working real hard. After you get to about 50, 60, 70 years old, you can't really do some of that labor anymore. So it
Niggas
was a
was
way to
chopping down trees by hand back then. Ain't
you
no
feel
power.
me? Like, we got a lot of machines. We often take for granted the technological advancements that we've had
Yeah.
in the last 100 years, right? And that's another thing. So a pension didn't exist till 1875, and Social Security, which is the predominant thing that most people rely on for their retirement, that didn't exist till 1935. So up until that time, right, the idea of retirement basically became you find a company that has a good pension plan and they take care of it for you, and the government is going to pay you because you worked, right? Then boom, we come to the 70s, 1979 to be exact, and they passed the Revenue Act, which introduces the idea of the 401k. So now, instead of companies funding people's retirements, we have,
You responsible to fund your own retirement.
you're responsible to fund your own retirement. So now you've had people who, the whole idea of retirement has been you go, you work, you get your money once you're done. Now it's like, nah, playboy. I need you to figure this part out too, right? So it's a whole generation of people that our parents' generation, honestly, right? In the 80s, once this was introduced, companies started rolling back from the pensions. And by the time we got to the late 90s, early 2000s, pensions were a thing of the past. So you had these people who never really learned about 401ks and don't really know what they are or how
investments
they
in the
work.
stock market and everything
They
like
didn't
that.
know that it was tax deductible and that they could knock their pre-tax income and the companies would match them. Some people didn't. Some people did, and they didn't act on it, or they didn't understand the benefit of it, right?
Yeah.
But hindsight is 2020. So yeah, no one ever taught them how to invest. And now that we had that knowledge, I think it's important for us to pass that information along, because it's scary out here, bro. Listening to that video of Mama talk, yeah. So yeah, listening to that video of Mama talking about it on the page, like it really made me,
Put some things into
think
perspective.
what's something that we could do to share some useful information for people, because we are Black Wealth Renaissance. You feel me? Like, this is what we about. We about helping us build and maintain and attain wealth. And like we were saying earlier, we gonna get old, guys. So we might as well plan for it. It don't take a lot. It really don't. I made the example earlier of taking $500 and putting it in a Roth IRA every month. You're not even maxing out your Roth IRA at that point. You putting 6 bands in it a year, but what the benefits are is you're getting this money in here. As long as you in in indexes like VTI, GTI, companies like Nvidia, Apple, Meta, these companies that ain't going nowhere, bro. The biggest things in the world. Don't look for the hot new thing. Fuck with the shit that's already jumping off, because it's already there. You put that money in there every year, you let it grow. This money's gonna grow, and everything you contributed, you don't pay taxes on. It grows tax free.
I was about to say, you pay taxes on before, like you pay your taxes whenever you contribute. Everything that grows then isn't taxed once you pull it out.
Unless you pull it out after you're 51
yeah.
and a half, 59 and a half, and it's a qualified distribution. But another beauty of the Roth IRA is any of that money that you actually physically contributed, you can pull that shit out at any time if you really need it. And that's one of the benefits that I don't think is talked about enough. It's like Roth IRAs are such a versatile tool that you can use. Like, if I'm putting $6,000 a year into this, and 3 years from now, I need money for a down payment on a house, I've been investing this, so there's money that's grown in here, right? There's part of this that I can't touch. But that 18 that I put in, that 18, I can still pull on that. I can pull the 18, leave the rest in there that's growing to grow, use that money to invest in my home, which is only contributing to my wealth. And again, this money all grew tax-free. It's not a taxable event for you.
But whenever you're pulling it out, are you borrowing it against it, or are you actually
No,
liquidating?
you can withdraw any contributions that you put in physically with no penalty to you. And another aspect of the Roth IRA that I think is overlooked often is that it can be used for children. There's no age limit on it. As long as the child has earned income, they can have a Roth IRA and they can contribute up to the same amount as us. So I think the contribution limit for 2025 is $7,000. If your child, the famous thing that we used to see on the internet all the time,
around tax season,
if you have a business, you can pay your child $12,500 a year. It's actually probably went up by now. It's been a few years. And it'll be tax free to the business, and you can take up to $7,000 of that, put it in a Roth IRA for the kid. Now they have tax free wealth growing toward their retirement. I just think, like, again, tools like this aren't discussed enough. And the business example, that's, to me, I think that applies to a set few of people. And I want to stress that if you're gonna do that, because people get the sound bite and think, oh, I'm gonna just start a business and pay my kid $12,500. No, the kid has to actually have a job. They have to have work that they do.
A role within the business.
Yes, and it has to be something that can be ordinary and necessary to the business. You can't just put your child in a T-shirt for your tax business and say that he markets. That's not how that works.
Yeah.
You probably won't pass the scrutiny of an IRS audit. But that's just one of the tools, right? A Roth IRA. Other accounts and options that we talked about on here that I just want to give additional context, right? So we mentioned the
more 401ks,
right? So 401ks are tax deductible accounts that take your pre-tax income and you can reduce your taxable income and contribute to your retirement. Many people's employers offer a match on their 401k, which is essentially free money. Now, there is a Roth option for the 401k. I don't think many employers let you do it.
Sam's Club offered it. I got that bitch.
You do?
Hey there, travelers. Kaylee Cuoco here. Sorry to interrupt your music, great artist BT Dubs, but wouldn't you rather be there to hear it live? With Priceline, you can get out of your dreams and into your dream concert. They've got millions of travel deals to get you to that festival, gig, rave, sound bath, or sonic experience you've been dreaming of. Download the Priceline app today, and you can save up to 60% off hotels and up to 50% off flights. So don't just dream about that trip. Book it with Priceline.
Go to your happy price, Priceline.
Wow, this house is cute. But can I really get in the game in this economy? I do have savings, and I am responsible-ish. I should bury it. I'm being wild. But what if I'm not being wild, though? Could I actually score a...
Kick off your home buying journey with Zillow's new BuyAbility tool. It makes it easy to find out what you can afford, so you can get off the bench and onto the playing field with confidence. Check your BuyAbility, only on Zillow.
That's beautiful. So you with that same thing with a Roth IRA, you pay your taxes on the front end. So it's not tax deductible, is it? Whenever you do it through a Roth 401k.
I don't think so.
Yeah, it's not. It shouldn't be tax deductible because you already pay your taxes. So it's either you get the deduction now and pay the taxes later, or you pay the taxes now and don't worry about it later. So that's kind of your options. But with the 401ks, you can contribute up to $23,500 if you're under
a year.
5. Yeah, a year. 23,500 is what you can contribute, and most people, average salary is $60K. So we're not saying you got to put all your money in there, but if you got it working for a company and they matching you, you damn sure should be putting some bread in there.
At least the minimum for the match.
You feel like whatever they match you up to, if they're gonna match me $100 for $100, I'm gonna put $100 in a month.
Yeah,
because it's gonna do you substantially more good in the long run than it would to not do so. Another account type that I think we overlook, we've shared and talked about on the page before, are health savings accounts. If you got an employer, you got a high deductible health plan, that qualifies, you can get a health savings account where uh, you can put money pre-tax away into this account, so it tax deducts your money. So you're paying less taxes because you're putting this money away into this account, which is made for qualified medical expenses. You can buy a lot of different things with an HSA. I wear glasses. I can get glasses with them.
Glasses, you get paid
doctor's
for
appointments.
doctor's appointments, gyms qualify for HSA, anything that's ordinary to your health, right? Your medications, all of that can come out of your HSAs. I think one of the beautiful things about HSAs is that you can use them to invest through as well.
And that's a little known fact.
Mm-hmm.
We had Carter on this joint break it down where like Carter and back in the early days, the first couple that told us about it, Our Rich Journey.
Yes.
They shared it with us that like, you could take this money and invest in the HSA, and essentially like any medical expenses that you have can be covered by this grown money in this account, where like medical bills are one of the number one things that bankrupt people here.
Mhm.
Imagine if you had been growing this money for when you didn't need it. Because as we know, as we get older, health complications arise. Once you're in that 40s and 50s age, the health complications arise. Jalen and I are 30 now. People listening to this may be a little older than us, maybe a little younger than us. But if you are listening and you don't take advantage of it and could, because you have a qualifying health plan, you definitely should, even if you're only putting 40, $50 a month in there, especially if you go ahead and get it linked to the market and invest those funds, because it'll do you, again, substantially more good than what you could do with spending the money on lifestyle right now, in my opinion. Last thing I want to mention with some accounts, and this is for my business owners, because I feel like sometimes we get to talk about individual taxpayers a little too much. So if you're listening to this pod, you're a business owner, you just so happen to, this might be your first year, you're doing well, you don't know about it. There is an option, an IRA option for us, right? Small business owners, there is an option called a SEP IRA. It's a simplified employee pension, if I'm not
There's
mistaken.
also one a
The
401k.
simple.
There's a 401k for business owners too.
Really? I'm not familiar with that one, but I'm gonna tell about the SEP and you can tell them about that one.
Gotcha.
So yeah, with the SEP IRA, that one is made specifically for business owners. And the benefits of that is you can contribute to your own retirement from the business. It's tax deductible to the business up to $70,000 a year. And as long as you are an employee of your business, you can do that, because as we know, if you own your own business, you're not contributing to anybody's pension. You don't have a 401k. You don't have anybody setting up this infrastructure for you through a job. So the government's allowed this vehicle for people who are in that category. So if you're new in business, you're making good money. If your business did great last year, I'm great and happy for you. Don't blow the bag, right? Go ahead and put some stuff away for you. Jalen and I have shared, we've been through the ebbs and flows of business at this point. Just because you hot right now and you up and you making hundreds of thousands, that don't mean that's how shit gonna be forever. You need to go ahead, put some of that money away for a rainy day. We all plan on getting older, is the point that I want to stress. And we got to make sure that we mitigating the risk of getting older by hedging that and putting some money away.
Facts. So I want to talk about the solo. It's called a solo 401k, and this is for a business owner that has no employees, and this 401k can cover you and your spouse. So you can contribute for you and your spouse through this 401k. They have the same rules and requirements as any other 401k, but it can be set up for you and your spouse. The business owner wears two hats in the 401k plan: the employee and the employer. So contributions can be made to the plan in both capacities. And this is coming directly from the IRS website, guys. The owner can contribute both up to, in 2024, it said up to $23,000 for the year. So that's another option that you do have is contributing to a self or a solo 401k. And then I want to talk about life insurance as well as an investment vehicle, which technically is not an investment vehicle.
I
But
don't. Let's not say an investment
yeah,
vehicle.
that's why I said
This is
technically it's not an investment
a
vehicle.
strategy to mitigate risk.
Yes, it's a strategy to mitigate risk because life insurance isn't an investment. It's an insurance policy over your life. So another way that you can kind of set yourself up for retirement though is by getting a IUL life insurance policy. If you get an IUL life insurance policy, that allows you to buy life insurance, but it's also tied to the stock market. So all of your cash value that you have in your life insurance policy through that IUL, it will then start to gain money. And one of the great things about this is with insurance companies, life insurance companies, is whenever you have an IUL, it allows you to participate in the market up to a certain percent. There is a scale where they'll say, hey, if the market does 12%, we'll give you up to 8% return on investment, right? But the good thing about that is if the market dips, you won't be exposed to any of those risks of the market, right? You won't be exposed to any of the losses. All the money that you put in there will still be regular. So the insurance company, they take it, they invest it. So that cash value that you're building through the IUL, you'll be able to actually, once again, if you have a living benefits on that policy, once you get older, you can borrow from your life
IUL.
insurance policy. Yeah, you can borrow from your life insurance policy for a few reasons. Once again, like David said, maybe you need to invest into buying a home or something like that. Or with those living benefits, what they'll actually do is they'll activate the policy and they'll give you some of that money to where it's not you're actually borrowing it from it, but you're pulling from the actual policy and you're pulling from that payment. So some people, they get cancer and they need to activate their living benefits. As long as you fall under the criteria of what they set in your policy, which is critical illness, chronic illness, as long as you fall under those things, you can then access the benefits of your policy through that, or once again, through that cash value, you can tap into that, borrow against it, pay yourself back, and that allows you to get some more money in a safer way to where you're not really exposed to a lot of the risk that comes with participating in the market.
And I just want to add and build on that, man. One of the beauties of products like IULs, and I know people sometimes get iffy with insurance, is it's usually one of the more affordable products that you can find on the market for what you're getting bang for buck wise. Um, yes, you have life insurance on you, but you also have the ability to accumulate cash value. And a lot of times you can get it done at affordable rates. Jalen and I are actually licensed. Yeah, Jalen and I are actually licensed life insurance agents. Shout out to Chris and Erica with Chosen Agency for getting us into the game. But we've helped people get policies, families get policies, right? And a lot of times it can work within your budget. A lot of people sometimes think that to get cash value life insurance, you have to go the route of getting a permanent policy or a whole life policy. And by the time a lot of us make enough money to do it in a way where it will make sense, you kind of get priced out, right? Because with whole life insurance, the older you get, it's going to be more expensive a month. Whenever I was 23, I got a quote for whole life insurance. It was like 170 then. I bet if I'd have went and got that quote at 30 years old, it would have probably been $250, $300. And when I got it at 23, it was 170. Like, it's gonna get progressively more expensive. Whereas with an IUL, it's same concept, right? Insurance is insurance. As you get older, it's gonna become more expensive. You're gonna pay more for the cost of insurance because you're a riskier person. Simply just because the older you get, the more likely you are you're gonna die. It just is what it is. But you can still you can still access a similar product through the IUL. It's a term product by nature, but it has the cash value aspect attached to it, and it's planned to renew automatically. So you're gonna keep the money, is what. Well, so any cash value you accumulate is your money because it's linked to an index, and this index, which is usually like the S&P 500, something that we've seen grow consistently at breakneck paces. I think Jalen mentioned it earlier when we were talking about Warren Buffett. Last year it grew like 24%, and we up 4% on this year.
25%.
25 and up 4% on this year already. Like that train don't stop for nobody. And if you could find a good IUL, some of the things we've helped people find, 50, $60 a month. And I mean, don't get me wrong.
It depends on your premium, like your policy value, but
you're not getting a $1 million policy at $50 a month. It's not that. This ain't that. You might get $30,000-$40,000. But if you keep and continue to pay these premiums, over time that 30-40 is projected to grow to 60-70 by the time you 20 years down the line. You know what I'm saying? It's just, again, another way to hedge against the risk of getting old. So if anybody listening to this is like, man, that sounds like something that I've been dragging my feet on, I don't have that, definitely just get at us, bro. Like, go ahead, shoot us an email at business@blackwealthrenaissance.com. Just make the tagline insurance. And Jalen or I will personally get with you to make sure that we can help you guys out. We definitely, that's part of the mission and the goal of Black Wealth Renaissance, is to help us build and maintain wealth. And insurance is one of those tools at our disposal that we don't often use. One last little tidbit I do want to give that I think is useful that we don't talk about, and it's been useful when we talk about an example of, the 800K cash versus 800 acres of land. A good option anytime you receive a lump sum of money for somebody who just wants to secure their financial future, fixed index annuities. I think that's a really overlooked financial tool.
It's because it's not sexy and it don't return a lot.
It don't return a lot. What is usually like anywhere between 4 and 10% a year, something like that. It's not the market, but similar to what Jalen said with the IULs, you don't risk the downside because it's fixed. If the market returns 0, you don't lose money that year. But if the market gains 30%, you capped out at 10, right? So you miss out on gains for the risk mitigation portion. But the benefit of it is that this money is locked into a contract with you give. So the way annuities work, right? You have a lump sum of cash that you want to either have paid out as a lump sum in the future after it grows, or you want to have it paid out over time, what they call annuitizing it, right? Just giving you monthly payments, weekly payments, yearly payments to help fund your lifestyle and retirement. This is a good tool for retirement as well for young people listening. Again, if you're coming into some money. And a fixed index annuity, similar to an IUL, it's going to be linked to stock market S&P 500. It can grow up to that percentage. It's bottomed out at 1%. You got a floor and you got a cap. You can earn the max at the cap, min at the floor. But every year it's going to grow.
The good thing about it, as you can't say every year is going to grow, because once again, if the
fluctuations,
market,
if the market don't return, then you don't get nothing.
So, but the good thing is with an annuity, you'll get paid a set amount. It's going to annuitize and you'll get paid a set amount for the rest of your life. So that money is going to pay you out a certain amount no matter what.
And you get, and unlike like Social Security, retirement, and all that, you choose the age that you want to start taking those payments out. So if you want to if you got the money when you were 30, so God forbid somebody in your family passed, they had an insurance policy, you come into a windfall of cash. You got $250,000. You don't know what you want to do with this money. You don't know what, but you want to make sure that you're securing yourself. Take 100, take 50, put it in an annuity. Go ahead, fix index annuity, let it grow for the next 30 years and see what you have there. You're
Facts.
gonna have an extra source of income that you likely wouldn't have. Because I think that's what whenever we're talking about like this impending retirement crisis and how it's gonna affect us, a lot of older people didn't have the foresight to see that when they stop working, their money gonna stop coming. They serve as our example. We can't make that same mistake. I just said it earlier in the episode whenever we were talking. Like you got to learn from the mistakes of others. It'll save you so much headaches and problems in life. And after seeing that video of my mom spitting about that shit, man, like I said, I just think it's mad important that we really, really take heed of this because I believe we all gonna feel it in our pockets as a generation. We're gonna have to support our parents.
Facts.
So supporting your parents is gonna take from your money. So you're gonna have to find ways to either generate more revenue or cut back on your expenses to make sure that you also funding your retirement while making sure you helping your parents. Because who else gonna do it? You know, if the Social Security at risk. Yeah, that's fine. Your Social Security at risk. A lot of things at risk, bro. So I I just say don't put your faith in the government when it comes to securing your financial future. They've already shown us they abandoned us a long time ago in the '80s. So yeah, that's kind of just the spiel. I hope that's been helpful. Y'all got some information that's useful out that segment. But we can go ahead and Jalen, you got anything to add on that?
Nah, I don't have anything else to add on that one, my brother. Once again, like you said, just really think about your future, prepare for your future. I know a lot of us we live in the now. We don't think about it. We want to have fun. We don't want that delayed gratification, but you don't want to look up, be 60 and you ain't got shit to show for it.
At all.
So
At all.
think about that.
Yeah, but well, guys,
We hope
I
y'all
think that's
enjoyed
it.
this episode.
Hey, I hope y'all enjoyed the episode. I want to thank everybody for tuning in to yet another installment of the Black Wealth Renaissance podcast. As
Mhm.
always, y'all make sure y'all leave us a rating and review, preferably a 5-star review. We love any feedback that you guys can provide. Jalen mentioned it at the beginning of the episode. If it's anything you want to see from us, guys, you let us know. We definitely will try to get you the information that we need. We built this for the people. We got a heart for the people. We want to help us build and maintain wealth. If you need insurance, as we mentioned, go ahead, email us business at blackwealthrenaissance.com. That's
.com.
business at blackwealthrenaissance.com. Just let us know and we can get something set up for you guys for sure. Uh, but yeah, that's
If
all
this
I
your
really
first
got.
time
Closing.
listening, make sure you subscribe. If you enjoyed what we spoke about, have any other questions, make sure you drop us a comment. If y'all have questions that y'all would like to see us talk about on the next episode, y'all shoot us an email too. You can shoot us an email to podcast at blackwealthrenaissance.com. Just put a podcast topic or anything like that. Shoot us an email with anything that you would like to speak about. We appreciate y'all for listening. We appreciate y'all for tapping in.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Well, guys, as always, until next time, this is BWR signing out.
Peace.
Peace.